Mike, can you just give an introduction to yourself and how you found Handshake and everything?
Yeah, sure. So I'm in the Philadelphia area, and I got into domain names about around 2013. I got into domain names mostly just because I'm a programmer, and I needed domains to like launch websites and stuff. And I started, looking into domains to get, and I saw that one was expiring pretty soon, but I didn't know the whole process. So I did a lot of research, figured out the process, and tried to get it, but somebody else beat me. And so I realized there was like this competition for valuable domains that expire and they become available for registration. So I really did a lot of research into that, wrote code to compete with that, and got pretty good at it. And then I launched Park.io, which is a drop catching service for domain names, mostly like .io domains and some other stuff. It started as just .io domains, and I ran that by myself for 5 years, and then brought on a partner, Steve Webb, who's taken that over pretty much. And then there's a domain conference called NamesCon that I would go to sometimes for Park.io, and I went there a couple years ago, right before the pandemic stuff, and I met. I like changed my flight and everything just to attend this one blockchain thing. It was actually by Unstoppable Domains, the guy at Unstoppable Domains, because I was into Bitcoin, and I knew that domains should be on a blockchain. Like I knew there was a lot of value there, so I was thinking about it, and there wasn't like a great solution at the time. So I went to to hear this guy from Unstoppable, and in listening also was Brantley from ENS and Tieshan from Namebase, and I talked to them, and I was talking to Tieshan, and Handshake sounded. I had heard of it before, like on Hacker News, but after talking to him, it seems like a lot more solid of a thing than other things. So then and it was like just launching, like it was right before mainnet launch. So I got really into it and started mining, and like tried the whole first year, tried to get a lot of good names, invested a lot of money, and then and then we started Impervious. The beginning of this year, like in January, and so then since then we hired Matt Zipkin, and also Buffer we hired pretty recently. Kind of a little background there.
Yeah, and can you kind of expand on Impervious and kind of like what your mission is with that?
Yeah, I mean, Impervious was created. A lot of it really is created to as a way to like help Zipkin stay in Handshake, because Zipkin is like, he's a great developer, knows Handshake really well, great guy, and just like really important to Handshake at the time. There wasn't a lot of people working on it, and so I just wanted to keep him around. And so part of that solution that I tried to think of, how could I help Handshake in the way that I know how. So starting Impervious, and like starting it with some money from Park.io and getting some investors. And the idea was, it's like cypherpunk development. So it's like just trying to build out Handshake and give it try to make it achieve the cypherpunk ideals of freedom for the internet, and just like decentralized domains on the internet. So that's the goal. I mean, everything we've done is open source so far, and I like that. And I think the team that we have right now, Zipkin and Buffer, I mean, they're just awesome. We're amazing. Like it's really great to like just, and I don't, I feel like they're just, the team is like it's like a, they just create awesome stuff on their own, basically. Like, so I don't do a lot with that, help with that, I guess. But it's yeah. So that's the goal. Is just like try to build out Handshake, make it better, but stay true to the cypherpunk ideals of making it decentralized, secure, root zone.
There's definitely a lot of passion behind those guys for sure. On the topic of Buffer, I was always wondering when you recruited him, he was kind of like a pseudo. So, how was that kind of experience from your point of view? And is he still pseudo or has he kind of given you his real name and identity and whatnot?
Yeah, I think he likes to stay a little more private, and so yeah, just happy to respect that. Yeah, I mean, we, as part of having a company and following the laws and stuff, we have to and doing payroll and stuff, we had to information. But yeah, but yeah, he's awesome. I mean, he's amazing developer. It's awesome to work with him.
Yeah, I'm glad that Handshake has such a strong kind of pseudo anon economy. It's fun. is what I can say. I really like it. It's something that makes us unique to a lot of other communities out there, I think. And do you have plans to expand your team more when you can, or do you want to expand more now?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to expand. I mean, the goal of Impervious was to raise some money and try to build it out. And like, I guess my job is kind of like figuring out how to make it sustainable, like how to bring in income to make this sustainable. And so that's kind of where like forever domains and things like that are coming from. So that's still what I'm trying to think about a lot. We're not profitable yet, so but when we get to that point, then yeah, I would love to expand the team. I mean, the way that I ran Park.io and how I'm kind of doing this now with Impervious is like just trying to run it really lean and like trying to just make it self-sufficient. So like it makes enough to sustain itself, and then so yeah, I mean, my goal is to grow Handshake. So when we can hire a more of a team, I would be happy to do that to help grow Handshake and keep it Handshake grow and become the root zone of the internet and stay true to those cypherpunk ideals.
For sure, for sure. And on the topic of forever domains for anybody unaware, which I'm pretty sure everybody here knows, but after when I'm recording everything, it's domains that you can own forever and they, in a way, auto renew so you don't have to worry about them. But I think something really important that Forever Domains implements is HIP 5. Do you think you could kind of explain that to people that are unaware or lack the technical understanding to kind of really understand what it does?
Yeah, yeah. So HIP 5 is this proposal to like bridge Handshake. I guess other namespaces are like to so it's a way to bridge a Handshake name to like another chain or another place to store information about the so if you want to do second level domains on a Handshake top level domain, HIP 5 is a way you can do that. And so Forever Domains did that with Ethereum. Like it bridges it. It bridges the .forever top level domain to a fork of ENS on Ethereum. So, and it does it in a way that like it's provable. You don't have to trust anybody. It's provable. Like if you buy a .forever domain, you can see that you can like the code's there, and like you can see the ENS contract. You can see how the data is set on the Handshake blockchain. So you can see you can prove that you actually own second level domain, and you have control over it. Nobody can take it from you. So, and I thought that, that was important. So I think, some people, it does, some people don't know if second level domains are important or not, but like I think from my perspective from the domain world is that like I think it's really good that it expands the namespace. So like on Handshake, there's only a finite number of TLDs, even though it's a really large number. There's a finite number of names you can get on Handshake, and also you really restrict that down by like good, memorable names, which is the point of a naming system. So so when you add a second level domain, you really, really hugely expand the like memorable names and like good names space. So in that way, I think it's kind of important. And so a way to do that, like in a trustless way, like where it's not, somebody can't pull the rug on you. Like if you have a Handshake top level domain, like I don't know, some Handshake like .handshake or whatever, and you buy second level domains under it. Well, how do you know that they won't just change the name server data or whatever on the Handshake blockchain for .handshake and switch it to something else and pull the rug out from you? So I wanted to make sure there was a way to set that so that you would know that could never happen. And so this HIP5 does that. Well, it sets the data on the .forever name to point to an Ethereum contract, and then we also ran a script on the .forever name where we just basically transfer it to this locking script. Really, that means it's the .forever name on Handshake can never be updated again. It can only be renewed, and it can be renewed by anyone. So in that way, like that the data is set for good. It's always going to point to that contract, and anyone can renew the name. So it could be renewed forever as long as anybody in the community renews it. So in that way, people can trust that it is they own the second level domain. They just completely own it. Nobody owns .forever anymore on Handshake, and so that's a way. And then the proof of concept for that was .badass. We did that with .badass, which was pretty much a fork of ENS that didn't change a lot of things. And so you still have to renew badass, but then thought somebody suggested on Telegram HNS chat that you should have it forever, and we had the .forever TLD on Handshake, and I thought that was a good idea. I could definitely see a use case for that. Like you own the name completely, and you'll never have to renew it. So it's like a name you'll have forever, and nobody can take it from you. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that's perfect. And because HIP5, you can point the name to just about anything. You could point it to, or they can be bridged to like Cosmos or Avalanche or Solana or any other popular L1 blockchain, right?
Yeah, HIP5. Yeah, you can point it to anything. So you definitely don't have to use Ethereum or ENS or Ethereum. You can point it. I mean, you just have to update HIP5. I think HIP5 lists like I think it's just Ethereum right now. So you would just have to like do a pull request to that to specify the format of the data that you're setting the Handshake name to and where it points.
What are kind of your plans in the future? What is Impervious kind of building next? I saw you guys were putting HDNS, or is that what it's called? Yeah, HNSD on iOS. Is that kind of what your next product is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, the next thing is I'm really excited about. I think it's going to be a game changer. uh, yeah, it's this one was like all Buffer. He just did an amazing job with this, and we right now we're like in the final stages of it, testing. But yeah, it's I don't want to. I'm not going to give out too much about it right now. But stay tuned, like in the next week or two. And yeah, if you're not on the Telegram, like if you want to hear about it first, I suggest getting on the Telegram Handshake Dev chat, because probably we'll post there, like asking for some testers and stuff first. But yeah, in the next few weeks, we're going to launch it and announce it, and I think it's going to be I think it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, when I first saw the teaser on Twitter, it was really cool to see because I think the one of the biggest complaints that I had was I could always install this stuff on my computer to resolve handshake names, but on mobile, there was nothing there, so I was just like, I couldn't look up handshake names on my phone, which was kind of disappointing. We have Sentinel now, which does that too, but to have another option as well is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be. I mean, see this as something that's like drastically important, and it's going. And this is like, I mean, Buffer did it perfectly. So, I mean, it's just going to be. I think this is something that could really change everything in Handshake, and I hope that. I mean, it's going to. It's like going to make it a lot easier to use for everybody, and I think that's just going to make it. Like, there's not a lot out there on Handshake right now. Not a lot of sites, because there's a lot of reasons. It's hard to access. It's hard for users to access. It's hard for them to do secure websites and things like that. So, without giving too much away, I think this is going to make things a lot easier for everybody.
Yeah, well, we're all looking forward to it. And what are your adoption stats for some of your products? Like, how many downloads of a fingertip do you have, and like how many forever domains do you guys have registered so far?
Yeah, I haven't really kept great track of like how many downloads of Fingertip, but yeah, I, I think it's getting a good amount of use. Actually, I remember Zipkin and Buffer talking about it when they launched, like reaching some certain limits, or it was going up. I forget what it was, but yeah, it seems like it's being used a good amount. I don't know, but Forever Domains, it's doing pretty well. I mean, like I thought about this a lot. Like, so why is .eth so successful and things like that? And I've thought about it, and I think it's it's the community around .eth that makes it so successful, because it's not. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like hugely useful, as compared to, like, at least from a domain name perspective. Like, Forever Domains is just way better for like domain names. Like for .eth, nobody's using it for DNS. Like, you could set up a static page or redirect it or something like that, but mostly people are just setting their Twitter handle to it, or like just they want to be part of the community, something like that. So I realized, with launching Forever Domains and thinking about this a lot and seeing the success of .eth, like, that I think having a community behind something that is willing to like adopt it and like as kind of like their identity and stuff is really, because I saw this with .io also. Like, they really, it became like a community in its own. They adopted it, and they were like proud to have a .io domain and stuff. So that, thinking about that made me think, like, so, like, if you can launch with a community behind something like that, then it's really big. Forever is doing, I mean, it's, and also .eth, like, it's been around a long time. .forever we just launched, like a few months ago, and it's doing well. It's, it's, I don't know, it's done tens of thousands of dollars in revenue. I mean, it's in ETH, but like it's done tens of thousands of dollars in revenue. So it's not like huge, giant success, but it's definitely like profitable and it's in itself and it's doing well. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, there has been a burst of registrations recently. There's been a lot of registration. I mean, so when we first launched, there's a lot of registrations, and then it kind of dwindled a little bit, but then recently it's picked up a lot. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and for Forever Domains too, because it is a fork of ENS, you can pretty much do everything with that you do with your .eth name to your Forever Domain. So, like for example, you could send ETH to your or to your Forever Domain as long as you have your ETH address set to it, or I think they have like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin, and you can do that, right?
Well, the thing is, you would need to like have wallet integration with that, and that's the thing that like Brantley is really proud of, is having like, I don't know how many integrations they have. That's one thing he's really talks about a lot, is all the integrations. So, yeah, I mean, theoretically, yeah, you could definitely do it, but you would have to have the wallet like support for .forever. They'd have to point to like our fork of ENS, the contracts there and stuff, to look it up.
I mean, I think everybody in the community can say that what Impervious has been doing has been just like a huge help. It's great. But like, what can the community do to kind of support the Impervious mission more?
Well, pull requests, review pull requests. Zip would probably like me to say that. Review some pull requests to like HSD or whatever, HNS and yeah, contribute code. I think that's good. Just build things. I think, yeah, like that type of stuff. I mean, right? Yeah, we just need more developers reviewing code, doing that, and building things. I mean, what I would love to see, and what I think this thing we're releasing will make it a lot easier for this, and I think it will happen after this. But what I would love to see is some cool things built on Handshake names, like some cool apps that you could build on Handshake that you can't build on regular domains. I think that like once we get that killer app that brings a lot of users over, that's going to be huge. So that's the thing I'm waiting for, want to see happen, is something like that. Some killer app built on Handshake that that people need, that brings a lot of users over. So yeah, build and review code.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for sharing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Oh, cool. I guess we just can't approach ENS, right? Like Brantley specifically, right? I've heard. I came in a little bit later, but we tried collaborating, or at least a lot of us have. There's no. Is there any angle for ENS and HNS, or is it like two separate paths now, in your opinion?
Well, I think like I don't know, they're doing pretty well, like pretty successful right now, and so I don't know if they see a reason to. I've talked with them a few times. I don't know if they see a reason to do it right now. I don't know if they. Yeah, I guess I don't know if they see if ENS sees a reason like do it, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't think we definitely don't need them. They're I think it's fine that they're having a lot of success, and I'm happy for them, and They have their code. Hey, we use it for forever domains. It's good code, and I'm happy they open sourced it. But they're doing something different. Like the value of Handshake to me is that it's a decentralized and secure root zone, and ENS doesn't seem to care about that or even trying to do that really. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just different things really. Maybe sometime we'll be able to work together at some point, but we're just kind of different things right now. I mean, we did build like the first like fingertip is the first like resolver for .eth DNS. So you can do that, but nobody seems to want to use it for that right now. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think most people are using ENS as a wallet address or for NFT transfers. I mean, they're not even trying to use it as websites that I've seen, at least. Or is that
Yeah.
right? It's mostly like
Yeah.
addresses.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done a lot of like researching on how everybody's using it, but yeah, it seems like they're either just using it for addresses or just mostly like setting their Twitter name to whatever their .eth address is to show that they're part of the Ethereum community, something like that.
Yeah, like I saw one, they said like it was like a checklist of how to get into NFTs, and it was like step 2, get your ENS name. Like, I don't know why it's like on a checklist for NFT trading or something, but I saw that. It was a pretty big influencer, or at least in Twitter, that I can't remember the name to be honest, but he had a lot of traction on his account, and he had like a long thread, and step 2 or something was get an ENS name. I was like, for what though? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
And then I guess for the killer app, I know we're all waiting for that, hoping for that. And what would you think? Is there any hints that you could think? I mean, I kind of see a social network where they could create like you own your identity in like a sub SLD format, like a traditional domain, but within that TLD, and you own that, and it's your website for that network or any other use. Like that's kind of what I could see as a potential killer app, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've thought of some ideas. I mean, I think there's going to be a huge creative like once we get more people working on this, there'll be ideas we never thought of. That'll be, I think, awesome. That are built on Handshake. But yeah, right now what we're kind of focusing on Impervious is like making the tools so that we can actually build those killer apps first. Because when I first started getting into this, I wanted to build some of these killer apps, but it's like you can't do HTTPS or something. It's like you can't do that. I mean, like no browser supports Dane, and so it's like hard to build those killer apps now. But once we get those tools to make it easy, then it'll be awesome. Like some ideas for killer apps. I mean, these are just random ideas that might not be good, but one is like now I can't think of it. Oh, Sci-Hub. Yeah, Sci-Hub. So like like their domain keeps getting seized and they keep having to change domain names, but everybody wants to use it. They have tons of users. It's providing a service. So something like that, I think, is, a good use case because nobody can seize the domain, so anybody can just use it, never have to keep changing the domain. So like something like that. Or another cool thing is like in the traditional ICANN space, like you have to pay millions of dollars for a TLD, so you have to like create a business around it that basically you have to like sell second level domains, and everybody does it the same way. It seems you're just selling second level domains at GoDaddy to these top level domains, which is like boring. Like, so with Handshake you don't have to do that. You could create an app. I mean, and this is probably not a great idea, but like we have Alias. We have Handshake, the top level domain Alias, and I was thinking like, just like a URL shortener like Bitly or something. Like you type in your URL and it shortens it to like bit.ly/ and then this code. But with like .alias, maybe you could shorten it to the code .alias. You just get a free second level domain. And then like, so there's apps where you could make the second level domain part of the app, something like that. And you can like, you don't have to like sell them all. You can just give them away for free, or you can sell some of them, or I don't know how it would work, but there's a lot of different things. But also just like having domains, they're digital assets, and having them on, being able to do them with code in a trustless way is like, there's gonna be killer apps around that. Because right now in like traditional ICANN, whenever you sell a domain, you need like an escrow service. Like everybody uses, well, a lot of people use escrow.com. It's like you have to transfer the domain to them, or like you have to wait until they get paid. Somebody has to send payment to escrow.com. Escrow.com lets the person know that they got the domain, and then like, so you have to have a third party involved all the time. So there's ways you could do all that without a third party, like just make a lot of that stuff easier. So I don't know. I think there's going to be like a lot of really cool things. I don't know what they are yet, but I'm really excited for like the first killer app that comes on and a lot of people over. I mean, this thing is like this, from after being in the domain world and like being a domainer for so long, and also being into Bitcoin for a long time, like it's just obvious that domains, like a naming system, is going to be on the blockchain. It's inevitable. It's definitely going to happen. Okay, it's definitely, and there's going to be a lot of awesome things that come out of that. And yeah, Handshake's the best bet by far right now. So we just got to keep building and thinking about it, and eventually it'll happen. It's gonna happen, one way or the other. It's gonna give.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, we're all here. I mean, there's some, but then there's also these Bitcoin maximalists I've talked to, and they seem like, one guy I was trying to get into Handshake. He's just like a maxi. I shouldn't even talk to him, but he's like, everything's gonna go to Lightning level 2. Like, even he doesn't even really know what Handshake is. He's not so technical, but he just like, Bitcoin is the only chain, and all these other shit coins, will just die long term, and everything will go on Bitcoin, and it'll just make Lightning Network, and it'll be fast. And then he was just trying to convince me, like, don't even invest on anything. He's a maximalist, of course, so I don't know why I didn't listen to him talking, but I don't know, I guess there's no reason to fight with these people, but he's just. And I even saw some people in our community try to talk to some of these Bitcoin influencers on and then what's that guy's name? He's a domainer too, Michael Saylor. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, he's like probably doesn't even see our tweets. But I see some of our community reaching out trying to get him on the Handshake because he's a domainer and he's into Bitcoin. But half of me feels like he's always pushing Lightning. Like, I don't know how you feel about I don't know. Of course, I'm also deeply invested in Handshake, but of course, it's back of my mind is like, what if they try to do something on Lightning, or is that a threat to you or us?
I mean, I don't feel I don't feel threatened by anything like that, because it's like, if they build something awesome, cool, man, I'll use it. If they build something really awesome that's better than Handshake, fine, I'll use it. If it's better than Handshake. But like, I don't think they're going. It's not like, let's see it. I want to see it. And right now, Handshake's the best. So, and like, I'm just you got to focus your time on where you think it's gonna count, and I think it's Handshake right now. And like, if they're not coming over now, that's okay. I mean, Saylor didn't come over. Like, people told him about Bitcoin for a long time, and he didn't come over for years or after. So I think he'll come over eventually. Like, it's gonna to me, in my head, like, this is it's an inevitable thing. Like, there's no way ICANN's gonna be the controller of top level domains, and there's going to be no other naming system. Like, we're going to continue to use like third-party certificate authorities. Like, it's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It can't happen. Like, it just seems inevitable to me. It's going to happen one way or the other. It's breaking. Like, it's breaking now. It's like, it's everything that that wall that they have is falling apart, and something's going to take the place. And so, they're going to come over eventually at some point. But yeah, so if they don't come over now, that's okay. We're the early adopters, right? But yeah, I I think, you know, there's, I, yeah, I don't, I've fallen, like, it's easy when talking to like Brantley and stuff to get involved and like feel like you have to, or feel threatened, or feel like you have to stand up for like Handshake or something. But I don't, I think, just like, there's not really competition right now. It's just everybody trying to build the best thing. And I that's the, I guess that's where I'm focused now.
Yeah, I always wondered how Bitcoiners felt about Handshake because so, I mean, it's obviously built on top of Bitcoin, which is a fork of Bitcoin, so you would think that they would be really open to what Handshake is and what it does, and even, you know, even Satoshi was saying that domains are going to be on the blockchain, and yeah, I don't understand why they're not more open to that. But T Maxilla asked a question in the chat. He said, hoping to emulate something on the lines of Badass slash Forever, but having a new headache on the how to, wondering if any possibility of fleshing it out anymore. I'm pretty sure that the code is open sourced, and you can build your own instance of Forever or .forever, .badass domain, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's open source on the Impervious GitHub. But yeah, I can understand how it might be hard. It's a little bit of a complex project. But yeah, it is all open source. It's all there, so it's possible to do. But I guess, if this person, it would be awesome if they could help make a guide to make it easier, like put together a guide, and I'd be happy to like try to help with that, like if they get stuck on something. So yeah, just if you want to, send me an email or just reach out in some way. I could try to help you with that.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, we're definitely still early. I guess I just, what do you think about? I haven't followed lately, but there's talk of hard fork to extend the time for people to claim their names. You probably follow this closer than I have, but I don't know if you have an opinion on that or thoughts on that.
Yeah. I I don't know. I was following that. You know, whatever. I don't have super strong feelings about a lot of that, except except the part of like clawing back names. Uh, like I can't, like dot music or whatever. Like taking that away from the person who owns it on Handshake and giving it to the ICANN dot music people. I don't think that's a good idea. Because I mean, I said it, I put a comment in there on that thing about like you had to draw a line somewhere. Like you can't keep moving the line. You can't keep saying, oh, another ICANN TLD came in. Let's take it from the owner who has it now and on Handshake and give it to the ICANN people. Like we can't make ICANN the source of trust. And we had to draw the line. So that's the one thing I wouldn't want to see happen.
It would be nice if the music owner would just, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I was the owner of the Handshake Music, but I know it would probably solve some problems if it was settled in a fair way. But yeah, I know we can't force them. I agree.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only fair way for that outcome is for either ICANN to allocate some of their HNS to the music people to buy it, but there's no other option other than buying it. And he could hold out for as long as he wants. I fully support him.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to put pressure on the .music person who owns it to give it to the ICANN music people. I don't think like a conflict is a huge, horrible problem. I don't. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, for me, I guess from my perspective, I think there's a lot other bigger things to work on and do right now than to focus on like that thing, because that to me is not like a huge important thing in my opinion.
Well, we've been talking for a little bit now, so I think we can kind of start to wrap it up. Unless Team Oxala, you got another question? No, yeah, just thanks for showing up, Mike. Thanks for talking and answering all of our questions and everything like that. Is there any kind of last words or anything that you kind of want to show out before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for having me. Thanks everybody for joining and listening and everything, and hopefully you got something out of it. And yeah, just keep building, review some code. Yeah, we're early, and these things take a long time, but it's gonna happen one way or another. So yeah, just stick with it.
We're all gonna make it, guys. But yeah, thank you again, Mike. Everybody else, thank you for showing up, and have a good morning, evening, or night wherever you are in the world. And I'll talk to you guys later.